Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Let me start by saying that family is important to me. My parents are gone, and I would like to remain close to all the family I have left. After my parents passed away, I, now 35 female, inherited their house, which my husband and I now call our home. We had purchased it from my parents while they were still alive, and it became a place of love and cherished memories for us both. A few months ago, my brother, 29, went through a messy divorce and needed a place to stay. I, of course, wanted to help in whatever way I could, so I offered him the guest bedroom in our house. It seemed like the right thing to do for family, and he would be able to get back on his feet whilst staying in the home we grew up in. It felt right. However, as the days turned into months, my brother's attitude got worse. He began taking up more and more space, which I had not been super bothered by, except I'm a new mom, and my family is taking up a lot of my time and focus. However, my brother had no regard for that. He wasn't contributing to any upkeep or household expenses. He's an adult. One would expect him to do his own laundry at the very least, except he didn't. The mess he left behind became a constant source of frustration for me, and if I didn't clean up after him, I can bet your ass that the mess would stay there forever. I felt like I was taking on the role of a mother for this grown man even though I have an actual baby, and that requires so much of me on its own. Anyways, a few weeks ago, I finally approached him to talk about his living habits and inquire what his plans are for finding a new place. The conversation did not go as expected at all. He basically said that it's his house too, which it's really not, apart from maybe emotional attachment, and that he deserves to live here for as long as he wants and how he wants. I tried to reason with my brother, explaining that we had legally purchased the house and that he had already received his share of inheritance when our parents passed away, but he wasn't having any of it. The breaking point came when my brother disrupted my daughter's first birthday party last week. It was the first big day and I had been planning it for a while now. My brother, unfortunately, ruined the whole thing. He had had access to my husband's desktop the day before, and he apparently cancelled the event on our RSVP page and put a notice on it that the event has been postponed. I didn't even notice or realize because I was so busy planning every single thing and making it perfect until my best friend reached me in the morning asking why I'd cancel. It was at that moment that I learned what had been done. Unfortunately, many of the family lived hours away and they hadn't been set off by the time I reached out to them to inform them that the plans hadn't changed. So we had to hold the party with only a handful of family and friends. The day was ruined. And my brother was nowhere around, luckily, because I would have punched his face in. Enough was enough, and I decided to kick him out of my house. I told him he had a week to pack up and find a new place. Of course, my brother didn't take the news well. He screamed back at me saying that I clearly had no respect for him, because if I did, I would have asked his permission before I arranged such an event in his house. So he had to resort to such means because he didn't like his authority as a man being threatened. That if I didn't like how he handles things around here, then I should leave. This led to a brawl which ended up with my husband and his brothers kicking my brother and his stuff out. It was nasty. I cried myself to sleep and now I'm ridden with guilt. Am I the a-hole? Update. Not going well at all. I had hoped some consequences would knock some sense in my brother, but he has been calling me all sorts of terrible things, leaving me insane voicemail rants about how I am a shitty person, and apparently he has done no wrong. Anyways, I'm done dealing with this kind of behavior. I am a mom now and I have my own family to look after, and I will be willing to help my brother and talk to him again once he realizes how awful he has been. Until then, he's on his own. I think I now know why his marriage ended. You're not the a-hole, OP. Your brother is. He's a big one also. You tried to help him and he made you regret it. Your brother is a full-grown man, and yet he has the brain of a toddler. He got his part of his inheritance and you got the house. The house is yours legally, and just because you let him stay there for a bit doesn't make the house his. I can't believe he ruined your daughter's birthday. He sounds like a horrible person. I'm very glad your husband and his brothers kicked him out. You did nothing wrong, OP. Your brother is just an awful person who doesn't understand what family means. Story 2. I, 21 female, eat only halal. I'm an international student and I made a new friend. Let's call her B from my course recently. We've been out to eat a few times with people from our course and a few mutual friends. The places we went to had really good food but weren't halal, which was more than fine. I just ordered a vegetarian meal or something from their seafood menu. Still delicious. I guess me not eating meat offended B. I swear the weirdest things set people off. I recently started hearing stuff from our mutual friends that B's been going around saying, I don't actually eat halal, and using a picture of me eating McDonald's as proof. Here's the thing, I'm not very active on social media. I post on Instagram maybe once or twice a year. That doesn't mean I don't like going out and doing stuff. I just don't like posting about it, but my friends do. And whenever we do something, they post it and tag me. So if you go to my Insta, there's a ton of pictures of me in my tagged photos. My friends are social media crazed. I opened my Insta account in 2015. I honestly don't think I would have the patience to scroll down that far. That photo of me eating McDonald's was taken in 2016 when I was with my friends back home in Singapore. In Singapore, all major fast food chains are halal. B obviously didn't know that. Someone got around to telling her because she apologized to me. I didn't appreciate her, talking about me behind my back and accusing me of stuff I didn't do, but I heard her out. And I did mention that it was impressive that she managed to find that photo since it was taken in 2016, after she apologized. My friend group is split. Half of them just think that was funny, and the other half think I embarrassed her even more after she acknowledged her own mistake and apologized to me willingly. B went out of her way to find a picture of you not eating halal, and then she went around showing people behind your back to prove that you do eat meat. But it turns out it was meat, she was mistaken. Yes, she has apologized, but I don't see anything wrong in you calling her out on digging up your past just to prove her point. She was trying to ruin your image. I can't believe some of your friends in your friend group think that this is funny, and others think you embarrassed a girl that tried to spread rumors about you. Definitely keep B at arm's length from now on. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like she deserves every bit of embarrassment. That is an unhealthy level of obsession to try and prove your hypocrisy, or whatever her end goal was. And honestly, it doesn't sound like a terribly honest apology. It sounds like she was only apologizing to try and save face with your mutual friends who called her on her shit. Not the a-hole. Look, B here talked about you behind your back without you knowing about it. How do you know if she didn't do that before? And why would she try to tell others that you're not halal? I mean, she kind of tried to ruin you by lying to your friends. And if she scrolled all the way down, that she tried to find a reason to lie to your friends about you lying. Not the a-hole. B apologized because she realized she was incorrect about the food being halal, which isn't even the problem with her behavior. Your comment called her out for digging through photos more than 5 years old in order to feel like she had ammunition to start shit-talking you behind your back, which is effed up all by itself. It wasn't just a little misunderstanding, it was her being annoyed enough by something to go digging through your history for proof of who knows what wrongdoing she suspects you of, and going out of her way to try to turn people against you. She should be called out for that. That kind of behavior is crazy, and she should be embarrassed by it. Story 3. My sister-in-law had a miscarriage a few years ago and it was horrible. She quit her job and didn't leave her house for months. She was about 5 months along. I had a miscarriage last month. It wasn't that upsetting. I didn't know I was pregnant. It was pretty painful, but I was fine. I already have 3 kids anyways. We met with my whole family for the holidays and my sister-in-law kept trying to get me to talk about it. It was really awkward. She was saying stuff to me like, "You must have been so devastated." And I was kinda nodding along and trying to change the subject. Occasionally, I would say something like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." But then at one point, she was telling me about a child loss support group she went to and said she was gonna call the leader and ask if I could join. I never said I wanted to do that. I told her it wasn't necessary. She kept pushing me, saying I was just grieving and my mind was clouded or something. I then told her I really wasn't that upset about it. I didn't know I was pregnant and I have 3 amazing kids. I didn't need a 4th. She got very angry and said I was dismissing that they can be upsetting for other people. I never said that. And she said stuff about my kids being adopted. She then started crying and left. Most of the family is with me because she was being way too pushy and weird. But brother-in-law said they won't come to any family gatherings unless I apologize to her. Some people in my family think I should just apologize to keep the peace. I think that's dumb and I don't want to apologize. But am I the a-hole? Should I have just gone along with her and should I have apologized? Edit. I know technically it's a stillbirth, but she calls it a miscarriage. Edit 2. She has an 11-year-old stepdaughter and 3-year-old twins who she had after the miscarriage. Last edit. I believe hers happened in early 2016, so it's almost been 6 years. Also, she said that I was dismissing her experience just because she wants her own kids. I said that my kids were my own, and she said, sure, and rolled her eyes. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law sounds like my sister. Different circumstances, but she tries to force me to feel a certain way about things that happened over 20 years ago. I have moved past it a long time ago, and she brings it up every time we get together. When I say I want to make new memories and not live in the past, she says I'm in denial. Heartless and need therapy. Not everyone needs to feel the same way, and people need to respect other people's boundaries and feelings. Not the a-hole. It sounds like she might be in one of these support groups which are not supportive at all. People who are hurt and having trouble getting over something are not always best lumped together in a group, especially online where it is much easier, in many ways, for an unhealthy dynamic to develop. A miscarriage or stillbirth can be devastating, and I wouldn't say that anyone should not grieve. But I remember what it was like. If someone else found it less painful, then I would be happy for them. Not the a-hole. It's very weird and disturbing that she apparently wants you to suffer just so she can feel validated. An actual good person who genuinely wants to support you would be glad you're okay. Anyway, that's her problem, not yours. You don't owe her an apology, she owes you one. And you aren't the one failing to keep the peace. You are not the problem here. She and everyone ganging up on you are the ones not keeping the peace. Don't let anyone gaslight and bully you into thinking otherwise.